Okay, I've clicked go live. Now I'm just about to click record, because we then share this into our special little secret Facebook group later on, Samita.
Yeah.
So firstly, I'd like to say hi, welcome. Thanks for being here for 15 minutes and 15 questions for positive, passionate women in business, because this is a beautiful opportunity to get to know more about our members. And so I've called it the hashtag helloyou interview series, and it's for members of our huddle. So thank you so much, Samita. It's wonderful to see you here. And you're looking fabulous, and it's great to see some of your items. I'm not going to say what they are because you can mention that a bit later on.
Yeah.
But you're looking just glorious, and I'm wishing I'd put my lippy on tonight now.
Thank you.
But you're the one that's shining tonight.
No.
So,
you always shine, Kylie.
Thank you, Samita.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get stuck in straight away if you're happy with that, and then we can just get rolling.
Yep.
And learn all about you. So for those of you watching, we're excited to have you here. And in the caption, you'll see all of the details about Samita's business so that you can connect with her and touch base. So let's get stuck straight in. Question number one is, tell me something about yourself, Samita, that others might be surprised to know about you.
Yes. Let me see. Kylie, you've known me since years. First of all, thanks for having me. But, something you perhaps don't know, that I was studying politics and economics before I decided to become a tailor. So, so I was the good girl from the good family, destined to go into, civil services or banking. And when I did kind of a rebound, and then I joined fashion. And in my mother's words, I decided to give up white collar jobs and I became a tailor.
Wow.
Well,
that's quite a switch around, isn't it? Or a flip around? Yeah. That's fantastic. So for those of you that don't know, Samita and I met, we worked it out the other day, didn't we? We think it's about 8 years ago. Is that right?
2013, yeah.
2013, so 7 years ago.
Yes.
So we met because we were both in Melbourne. Well, Samita lives in Melbourne. I was down in Melbourne for a trade show. Now, which one was that? Was it the Reed Gift Fair?
Reed Gift Fair. And so, we were in the boulevard, which was pretty much just a walkway.
It was freezing. It was absolutely freezing.
Yes.
Samita was my next door neighbor, and she was absolutely wonderful, as was your lovely husband also. Anyway, as you know, you're spending all those days together, and things just evolved. And then all of a sudden, Samita started some of my manufacturing with the very ethical and fabulous factory that you do have in India. And then we worked together for years because I just couldn't, honestly, I know I've said it before, but the quality of your work is just amazing. And I've just been so happy that I can then let people know about what you do. And then other people have come to you. And even though I sold that business now, well over 18 months ago, I know that the new owner is still working with you on new products and all of that. And so I just love what you do. So anyway, I look forward to hearing a bit more about that as we go along. So I'll jump on to question number two.
Yes.
So Samita, if there was something in your past that you were able to go back and do differently, what would that be?
As mentioned, and I think I mentioned on one of the posts, I would not be a good girl. I would do all the wild things. I would travel, I would backpack, I would work at restaurants to pay off my bills. I would do maybe fruit picking, do all the adventurous things. And I wouldn't get married so early. So I keep telling my husband that I didn't even, before I could have a couple of affairs, I was married to you. And that was it. So yes, I'd probably live life. So when my students, because as you know, I have been teaching since almost last 10 years. I have just about given it up because of the business pressures. So when they say we are taking a gap year, we are going traveling, and I tell them, go, just live your life, So I'm traveling a lot now, but doing it as an 18, 20-year-old, on very slender budget, that's a different experience altogether. So yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. And
Yeah.
how are things for you at the moment with the second lockdown that you're having?
We are all in lockdown, but you know, uh, I count my blessings. I still have food on my table and a roof over my head. Happy with the little orders. I still am. I have a couple of wholesale orders, and my e-commerce business, thankfully, is getting me some revenue. So I have friends who have been. They used to have very. They were very high flying. I know this very high flying couple, both in aviation and both in tourism, and they were actually I think working for one of the airlines, and they've been stood down, both of them. So you know uh, so I'm much better off. So I'm just, you should always count your blessings, and this too shall pass. So I am a Buddhist, so I believe that winter is always followed by spring. So that's me. Yeah. But yes,
Wise words.
we are in lockdown. Yeah, so everyone's wearing masks, and yes, total lockdown. Yeah.
Very wise words for us all to heed. That's great. Okay, so what do you love most about what you do? And so this is a great opportunity to tell us a bit about what you do.
Well, as you know, I have been in fashion since a very long time, and I do run an eco gifts and lifestyle products company. So I sell from my web store, I wholesale, I custom manufacture for clients in Australia, New Zealand, a little bit elsewhere. So I am getting clients from exotic places like Iceland and Israel. So I'm pretty chuffed about all of that. Uh, I actually love everything. I have that passion for fashion. So a colleague of mine used to say, another person saying passion for fashion, and I'll go crazy. I'll kill that person. But you know what? That defines me. I love everything about what I do, even the pressure, the tremendous pressure that we have to face, and the timelines. I'm just used to it. I quite enjoy it, and I'd feel empty without all of that. So yes, I really like everything. So literally.
I just love you every
Yeah.
time I've ever spoken with you. And luckily, I have been able to over the years a number of times. I just find your enthusiasm for what you do so glorious. I just love it.
That's
So
because
I'm so,
I love what I do.
yes, and it shines out of you, which is just so
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So what is it that you love the least about what you do?
It's probably lack of time. I feel I could do so much if I had more time. And also, I wish I could do more, I work with people who really need that work. So women's groups, artisan communities. I'm very close to several artisan communities all over the world. And I try to do as much with my whatever resources I have, but it's still the tip of the iceberg. I wish I could do more, so maybe hopefully, I don't know if you know that I have landed a nomination for an award. So if that brings me I don't care about attention to myself, but if it translates into more work for the people my members of my team, that would be nice. Yeah.
Absolutely. And as you would already know, it's all about getting visible. So
Absolutely.
people in your, need to know you, learn to
Exactly.
not learn to like you, sorry. They need to get to know you, like you, trust you, so that then they want to work with you, because as you know, people buy from people. So
Yeah.
getting nominated for that award is fabulous, Samita. Congratulations. And
Thank
yes,
you.
you're right. If it's another opportunity for people to get to know you a bit better, then
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
wonderful. So fingers crossed.
Fingers
I hope
crossed.
that's
Yeah.
a wonderful night. What will happen with that awards night with the current state of affairs?
I don't know. They are hosting it in regional Victoria. But then, we'll take it. Frankly, I think they are just playing it by the ear. So it has been, usually it happens in Melbourne, but this time it'll be in regional Victoria. So that's the plan.
Great.
As of now. So we are just, probably getting ready to go to. It's a beautiful little town, and I'm looking forward to going there actually. And I have been nominated actually by someone else, so it's like it's come to me as a pleasant surprise. So yes. So, but I have been made aware that it'll be they'll host the whole thing in regional Victoria somewhere. Yeah.
Wonderful. And what an exciting opportunity to get all frocked up in a ball dress.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. Yeah.
You really will. That'll be great.
Yeah.
Okay, so Samita, if you weren't doing this, what do you think you might be doing?
I'd probably become a doctor. But you know what? This doctor thing or anything else was, I think, more my mother's dream than my dream. It was all part of the good girl syndrome. So, how good Indian children always become doctors or engineers, you have to be white collar. I honestly, right from the beginning, I wanted to do something creative. And we didn't have fashion design nor graphic design. They used to call, it was called commercial art. And I had wanted to do commercial art. And then my mom said, but you are such a good student, why would you want to do things like these, So, but it was my other half who encouraged me. And, he said, just go and do what you'd really want to do. So I owe it to my husband, who's my rock. So
He
yeah,
is
he's the
such
one.
a wonderful man.
He is totally supportive. And he said, I said, what if I borrowed from him, to have my first show. And I said, what if, then you have those, the doomsday prophets telling you, oh, you might, so many people lose money. And I asked him, what if? And he said, what if? Just, so what? You lose it, you make money, you go ahead. And if you lose money, then, you have a rethink. But yeah, I have paid him back many times over. So,
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So what has been your biggest success in your working life? What do you feel that you're the most proud of?
This, Kylie, this recognition, these little things, the awards, the prizes, the fashion awards, well, Style Pacifica, you are a Kiwi, I know, you must have heard about Style Pacifica Fashion Awards. So I really love it how in New Zealand you have the Polynesian culture so much. And we used to have this, I have seen fashion shows all over the world. I never saw anything like Style Pacifica in any other part of the world. So I was a finalist there for my entries, I think twice, I think 2 successive years. And so it's not so much, if it comes to me, of course, it's a pleasure. But then, as I said, it translates into whatever little I can do for people. I worked a lot, and that's probably one of my biggest achievements. I'm very close to the Tongan community. And when I was doing my master's from AUT, so I worked with the Tongans, and it's called the Tongan Women's Cooperative, and it's in Grey Lynn in Auckland. I don't know if you know. And we used to work in a church, and I'm still in touch with them, and we work together thanks to a wonderful woman called Brenda Riley. And Brenda is half Samoan, half Tongan, and Brenda and I used to get together, and we used to work with all the mamas, the tapa painters of Tonga. So that probably, and getting entry into that community and getting accepted and finally getting so much love and affection from them, that's probably been one of my biggest achievements. I have done it elsewhere, but this was like initially quite difficult, but yeah, it happened. And once it's happened, I have received so much from them, so much. They give back. So I don't ever talk about charity. When people say, oh, you're doing, so many people, go talking about charity. I don't do charity for anyone, because if I am doing charity, they are doing charity to me. They are giving back so much. So it's a it's a two-way process. So I don't ever like talking about charity. I'm not doing charity for anyone.
With the not-for-profit that I run with my husband and a friend of ours, our motto is that it feels good to do good for others.
Absolutely.
And I totally agree with you about it not being charity, because what the joy that I get from what I do is that's a treat for me.
Yep.
So yeah, it's interesting, isn't
and
it?
the satisfaction, and there's a motive. They have named it that it's a particular design, and they have named it Samita's motive. So even if Samita is not around, whoever works, and I have told them that you can work with that motive, doesn't matter if I designed it or whoever did, and it's still known as Samita's motive. So what more validation can you ask for?
Absolutely. That's beautiful, Samita.
Yeah.
So who are your dream clients, and what kind of jobs do you like doing the most within your business?
You are my dream client. No, frankly, I like a client who has clarity of thought. She comes to, I don't mind if you come to me with just an idea. I work with several startups, but you should know exactly where you are. So do you want me to take a particular idea and take it from inception to fruition, or do you have the tech packs or the prototypes ready? Do you want me to do that, or do you want me to plunge headlong into production? So you should exactly tell me what to do. Now if you want me to go and do production straight away, then you should be prepared with everything else, or if you're not, then you just tell me. So it's the clarity of thought that I like in people, but I'm happy to have a dialogue, and I like people who are open to dialogue. Some people, like, they just seem to know everything. They like to tell you everything. If you're working, if I'm working with you, a digital marketer, and I tell you everything without, really taking advantage of your expertise, then why am I working with you? So
Well said. And there are many that do that.
exactly. I mean, if you know everything, then you do it. Like, why are you coming? I have a professional expertise, I have experience. So make use of that, So likewise, if I go to a professional, I would obviously want to, learn something, or, learn something from you, or, follow some of your advice. It has to be a dialogue. Of course, I'm taking the brief, I'm taking the order from you, but yeah, if it's a two-way process, it becomes a happier place for all of us. Yeah,
absolutely. It's important to listen and learn as well, isn't it?
yes.
Okay, so Samita, what challenges do you see impacting your industry?
Oh, tremendous. I mean, fashion is right now at crossroads, really, because see, let's face it, fashion is as guilty as charged, is very wasteful. It's polluting, no doubt, one of the biggest offenders. So sustainability and fashionability. So how and where do you find the compatibility between these two? So we are doing this. There are ways and means of doing this, and we have to focus on. I mean, every fashion week, I was just before COVID, I could attend the last, Melbourne Fashion Festival, and there were people from Denmark Fashion Week, which is known for its, eco kind of, it's inclined towards eco and organic. And the big debate was, how do we reinvent fashion? How do we reboot? We have to do something about the old school has to give way to maybe, ideas which are compatible with sustainability. And it's happening. See, for instance, Gucci has said no to fashion shows, and so many big fashion houses will follow, because really are all of these things, the so many different drops, etc., fall, winter, autumn collections, summer collections, all of these things, are they really relevant? Do we need so much of fast fashion? And fast fashion, I am very much vocal about fast fashion, because I have worked in export houses, and I have seen, how traumatic it can get for people who work in fast fashion. There are many, many documentaries about these things. So, and I have experienced it firsthand, what it does to human beings. If you're just sewing buttons or snipping threads, 12 hours a day, it can completely dehumanize you. So that shouldn't happen, you know. So yes, so that's a challenge. We have to face this challenge, and the very survival of the industry depends on that. Yeah.
And that is exactly why I really enjoyed working with you, because I
Thank
could
you.
only work with manufacturers that have the same ethos as I did.
Absolutely.
And I'm
So
so
can I. Yeah.
vocal on being so anti fast fashion and all of that. And I agree with you. I've watched many documentaries where they're sleeping beside their sewing machines for 4 hours of a night and then up again and back into it. It's just,
Absolutely. There are many horror stories, Kylie, but we'll need more time for that. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. All
Yeah.
right, let's move on. So what did you want to be when you were a wee girl, and you thought about when you were going to be a grown up?
Yeah, that's what I said. I really wanted to do something creative, but for a long time there was, see, my parents were supportive, but you know, it's the whole is it's a social fabric which places too much importance. You know, even now, the one of the main reasons why we moved out, of course, it was a lifestyle choice, is too much emphasis on white collar professions. And the whole if you go to social gatherings, it's all about how your child can get 99.99% in exams. So it was just that I thought we'd become doctors, teachers, bankers, etc. But somewhere, you know, I as a little girl also I was, and thankfully we didn't have playstations and things like that, so we were like, we would have long summer holidays, and we would be painting, you know, earthen pots and growing money, you know, plants in little, you know, all those light bulbs, the incandescent bulbs. So you would grow plants like yourself, you know, I'd go grow like the hanging plants you have behind you. So I used to do all these crafty things, and my mom, who was probably the best embroiderer, the best pattern maker that I have. I mean, she was probably the best. I have never seen someone so good as her, and she hadn't learned she anywhere things like sewing or pattern making, but it was just probably I have inherited all of that from my mother somewhere. So I really wanted to do something creative, I guess. I mean, it took me a while, and it took me a little bit of courage to sort of, you know, actually start you know, embark upon a career in something creative, but it has happened. So I'm very happy and consider myself lucky that I have been able to do this. Yes.
Well done. That's awesome. So this might be an odd question, but if you're an animal, which one would you like to be?
It's 6 o'clock.
Definitely a dolphin, but I probably, as you know me, Kylie, I always like to take a little extra from life. So I would love to be a combination of a dolphin for the intelligence, a swallow, probably a bird, so that I can travel far and wide. So I have already traveled so far, but I love traveling. And maybe someone who has a lot of color, maybe a peacock. You know, I'm all about color. So as you can see, because I'm wearing black and white, I have a red lippy. I need that pop of color.
Yes.
So
Do you
maybe
know
a combination.
that's so funny that you said that, because just as you were starting to answer that very question, and I thought, I see you as a butterfly,
Yeah,
like a
butterfly.
monarch butterfly with the beautiful colors in the wings.
Absolutely.
You know, because I know some of your products and
Yeah.
such beautiful
Yeah,
colors.
I'm all about color. I love color.
Yes. So
Yeah.
if you were a movie character, which movie would that be in, and why that one?
Okay. I think this changes from time to time, Kylie. I think we were discussing. You posted on social media about a movie, and you posted about that biopic we saw. Was it Amazon Prime that we watched a biopic on C.J. Walker, Madam C.J. Walker? You know, the lady who made the hair products, and she became very popular. I think, yeah. So I watched that movie. It was not a movie. I think it was a serial, and I thought, oh my God, look at the grit and determination of this woman, you know. And there were so many odds, so many challenges. So right now I'm very impressed. You know, I'm actually impressed and inspired by powerful women entrepreneurs. And so as of now, I would like to be somewhat like, you know, Madam C.J. Walker, and, you know, shatter some of the glass ceilings that come your way. So
Absolutely. I cannot remember the name of that.
I cannot remember the exact movie, I think.
But when I find it out after this, I'll put it into the
Please
comments.
do.
It was
It's a beautiful,
absolutely glorious. I'm glad
yeah.
you reminded me about that, because that was just wonderful.
And that lady is such a good actress who plays C.J. Walker.
Yes,
Yeah.
isn't she? I love her.
She's an Oscar winner, I think. Yeah.
So if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live?
I love Australia, but you know what? I'd love to live in Greece, Santorini.
Oh,
I just went to Santorini and I was there just for a few days, but I'd love to stay, if not live, at least stay a few months in one of those white villas. And it's very visually like, it's a visual delight. Just
I
standing there
agree.
and uh, and having Greek, all the souvlaki and wearing all those beautiful dresses, and they're full of crochet and embroidery and things like lace. So, and food is lovely, and I was just so happy. And they said, some of my fellow travelers told me some of the other islands are even better. Apparently Crete is very beautiful. So I'd love to be on the Greek islands, really. And I'm very much into mythology, history, all of that. And Greek, like Indian mythology, Greek and Roman mythology, I have a lot of interest in. And I also like Versace, I derive inspiration from all of these iconic characters, so Zeus and all of these Greek and Roman, like they have the Greeks and then they have the Roman counterparts. So I'd love to live on the Greek islands if I could, if I had.
I'll definitely come and visit you there.
Yeah.
That would be just wonderful.
Yeah.
I've only spent time on Corfu, but I would definitely like to.
Yeah, they said Corfu is very. I haven't been to Corfu. Santorini.
Like to explore.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is number 13. So we've only got a couple more after this one.
Great.
What does
Yeah.
being a positive and passionate woman in business mean to you?
Well, passionate is like when you follow your dreams. See, when I was actually looking back and I was thinking, when I got nominated for this award, and someone had gone and done it, and so this is what passion means, which means that keep doing the good work that you are doing, and persevere, persist, because if you're doing your work, I know at times we all feel like giving it up, and just at times I feel, why am I doing this? So there's so much stress, and might just put up my feet, read a book, paint a picture, listen to music. But if you keep doing your good work, passion is about that. And if you, as I said, if you like what you're doing, then you'll never get bored. So I was reading about an industrialist, and someone asked him that, what do you do for entertainment, as a hobby? And he said, but I love my work. I don't need a hobby. I love it so much. I'm happy to do it 24/7. So that's passion. Without passion, you cannot continue beyond a certain time, and it becomes like a day job. So if you and I, we are working like from morning till late into the night, we can do it because we are passionate about what we do. And positivity, honestly, in my kind of business, if you're not positive, you don't survive. So you always face the sun, so that you do not see the shadow, which is behind you.
That is so wonderful, Samita. I really love both of those summations there, particularly about the if you're passionate about what you're doing, then you're not actually.
Yeah, you're not working. You don't work a single day.
Wonderful. That's great. Yeah. So what are you most proud of in your life?
Well, as I said, whatever I have been able to achieve, and I, again, on Facebook Live, because I have my Facebook Lives on Sundays, every Sunday, and I take up some questions and all. But so I was thinking that, it's funny how when I started working with eco textiles, and I did this much before, organic and sustainability, slow fashion, everything became the buzzword. So I used to go to people and I would say, okay, this is vegan silk, this is natural silk. And it was all about plastic, fantastic, polyester, shiny polyester, bright colored, lasts forever. And they'd say, oh no, Samita, these are expensive, these are difficult to maintain, we have to iron it, and it crinkles and crushes very easily. And now I think I can see the rainbow at the end of the tunnel. The tide is turning in my favor, and it's music to my ears when people say, oh, we are looking for organic, we are looking for handmade, handcrafted is probably, as you would know, it's one of the most searched words on Google nowadays, and that's music to my ears. So you would say that at least somewhere I have contributed that to that, as well. Not everything. I'm not taking all the credit, but yes, that I would say is my biggest achievement. And I have turned around. I have been able to form women's cooperatives, and some of these crafts would have died. And I still remember the women that one of the communities we were working with, they used to get like just a few pennies for their work because the middleman would take everything, and it was a different community, a religion. So I had to cover my head. I had to put my life at risk, and I had to go and talk to those women. So obviously no one liked us because, the middlemen, the touts never liked us. So, and if there could be riots, and if there were riots, we would have been killed. So these are the circumstances that you work with. I mean, it sounds like a story, sitting in a developed country and talking about all of this, you and I, very beautiful surroundings. But when you actually go and work into those communities, at times it can be challenging. But we have it's miles to go, to quote Robert Frost, but we still have been able to do something, and it's turning around slowly, very slowly. But now people are asking you, what is it that you are wanting to do? What is the story behind this? Who made this? A few years back, no one cared. No one would have bothered, so that's a big change. Yeah.
I also am so thrilled about how the world is
The
changing.
tide is turning. Yeah.
And I think it's wonderful that you have been at the forefront of that.
Absolutely.
Fabulous. So this is our final question. What's
Yeah.
the one tip that you can share of how you stay positive when things are challenging?
Well, again, I must say my Buddhism helps me a lot, and my Buddhism teaches me that it's a cycle, so it's up and down. So if there are ups, there'll be downs also. So when there are downs, just, as I said, face the sun. So face the challenge here. So if you face the challenge, and if you see, and always try to pinpoint the opportunities. I was just, we were on another forum. It was Business Victoria, and we were talking to this man who was making wine. And now, what he's doing? He's making sanitizers. So you see how he's reinvented and rebooted, and he's doing very well. Like, all his sanitizer is getting sold out pretty much. And so see the opportunities. There are still people who are doing very well. 3 of my students are making face masks, and they're selling out. Absolutely thrilled. Never had so much business in their entire lives. So you see, that's positivity. I mean, we cannot always have everything in our favor. So just see what works for you. And there's another movie I want to refer to. I don't know if you've seen a movie called The Founder. If you haven't seen it, I will not tell you. Yeah, I will not tell you who it is about. But one thing that man says, that in business, what matters is perseverance. So persevere. And again, in our Buddhism, they say that winter is always followed by spring. So do not give up. So this winter will also be followed by spring. So that's my 2 cents worth, Kylie.
Absolutely beautiful, and what a gorgeous spot to leave it with. Winter is followed by spring, and spring is my favorite season.
Absolutely, mine too.
That is absolutely magic. Thank you, Samita. I'm so grateful that you spent this time with us tonight and shared some beautiful insights and some ideas and dreams and aspirations, and you're just so amazing and so inspirational. And I encourage everybody to go and seek you out on your socials and follow you and look at your website. And for anybody that's wanting to manufacture a clothing line or a line of or anything.
Anything to do with textiles.
You sent me a gift recently when I wasn't well, and it was such a beautiful surprise. And in there was that gorgeous bread bag. And my daughter's been making amazing sourdough. Yeah. In fact, the one she's been doing this week is potato sourdough. And it's just beautiful. And it's been going in to the beautiful bread bag. Thank you. But there was also a gorgeous big market bag. And it just was a beautiful range. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Kylie. And yeah, you are an inspiration. You know, the way I think we were discussing, Terry and I, that, you are so hands-on and in the kind of, you don't fluff around. So we get so much out of these. And because we do attend all the other Zoom meetings, and some of them that, you literally go off to sleep after a while. And being an academic, I know exactly when that happens, when you just lose your audience. So, but with you, you're always, giving answers, real answers to real questions. And that's very important. But I'm really grateful to you. And it's been lovely talking to you. And I'm absolutely loving how I'm making new friends on, all your different platforms, and they are beautiful people, and it's good to connect. I really enjoy all the interactions that you have on your several forums that we connect often on. Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. Okay.
That's wonderful. Thank you. And for me, it's such a pleasure and a privilege to be able to connect with all these amazing people. So I'm glad that you're finding new people and new collaborations and things.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Samita. It was just wonderful. And I look forward to connecting with you again very soon. So you have a wonderful evening. And say hi to your lovely husband.
I will. I certainly will. I told him I'm talking to Kylie today, and he remembered you. I mean.
Oh, that's wonderful. All right. Well, thanks so much, and you have a beautiful night.
You too. You too, Kylie.
Bye.
And say hello to Clover. And
I will do. I will do. Thanks, Samita. Bye-bye.
Thank you.